What if you could take a vacation not just around the world, but out of this world? Imagine gazing at the Earth from the vast emptiness of space, a breathtaking spectacle that only a few astronauts have had the privilege to witness. Welcome to the dawn of space tourism, a concept that once lived only in science fiction novels and Star Trek episodes. This idea, once considered far-fetched, is rapidly becoming a part of our reality, thanks to the relentless advance of technology and the ambitious efforts of private companies. These pioneers of the cosmos are hard at work, building and testing spacecraft designed not for seasoned astronauts, but for regular folks like you and me. They envision a future where space travel is not a rare event, but a regular occurrence, where the stars are not just for the chosen few, but for anyone who dares to dream. Sure, it's alluring. The thought of floating weightlessly, of seeing the Earth shrink to the size of a marble, of experiencing the profound silence of the cosmos, is enough to stir the heart of any would-be explorer. But it's not just about the thrill of the ride. The rise of space tourism could usher in a new era of economic growth and job creation. Imagine the industries that could be born out of this venture: spacecraft manufacturing, astronaut training, spaceport operations, and so much more. Think of the breakthroughs that could be achieved in fields like engineering, physics, and biology as we strive to overcome the challenges of living and working in space. Moreover, the revenue generated from space tourism could be a game-changer for scientific research and exploration. The funds could support missions to the farthest reaches of our solar system, uncovering secrets about our universe and perhaps even answering the age-old question: are we alone? So, could space tourism be the next frontier in leisure and exploration? Or is it a journey fraught with unforeseen consequences? As we stand on the brink of this new era, we must consider not only the opportunities, but also the potential pitfalls. Because as with any great leap forward, it's not just about getting there, but how we get there, and at what cost. As the prospect of space tourism becomes increasingly real, a critical debate has emerged. What are the environmental implications of commercial space travel? Space tourism, a thrilling prospect for many, comes with a significant environmental price tag. This cost is largely due to two key factors: the carbon footprint of rocket launches and the generation of space debris. Rocket launches, the only current means of powering spacecraft beyond Earth's atmosphere, rely heavily on burning colossal quantities of fossil fuels. This combustion process releases a cocktail of greenhouse gases and other pollutants into the atmosphere. While the environmental impact of a single launch might seem insignificant, the cumulative effects of repeated launches could be quite different. Imagine hundreds or even thousands of rockets launching each year, each leaving a trail of pollutants in their wake. This could lead to a significant increase in air pollution, not to mention the contribution to global climate change. The carbon footprint of space tourism is, therefore, a legitimate concern that needs to be addressed. Then there's the issue of space debris. Each launch generates its own share of space junk in the form of spent rocket stages, defunct satellites, and fragments from collisions or explosions. This debris, left to float around in space, poses a significant risk to other spacecraft and satellites in orbit. It increases the likelihood of collisions, and over time could create a veritable minefield in space, hindering future exploration and utilization. Moreover, the accumulation of space debris in low Earth orbit could exacerbate the existing problem of space junk. This presents challenges not just for spacecraft re-entry, but also for the safe disposal of defunct satellites and spent rocket parts. In essence, the environmental cost of space tourism is complex and multifaceted. It's not just about the immediate impact of rocket launches, but also the long-term effects on both our atmosphere and the space around our planet. While the thrill of space travel may be enticing, it's clear that the journey to the stars is not without its environmental toll. Beyond the environmental concerns, space tourism raises profound ethical questions. Who gets to go to space, and at what cost to our planet and its inhabitants? As we delve into the ethical implications of space tourism, we find ourselves in a complex web of contrasting viewpoints. On one hand, the allure of space travel, the promise of new discoveries, and the potential for economic growth paint a picture of a future brimming with possibility. But it's crucial to remember that this narrative caters predominantly to a privileged few. The high price tag associated with space tourism threatens to widen the gap between the haves and the have-nots, creating a space playground exclusively for the wealthy. This raises a critical question. Is it justifiable to invest vast resources into an industry that caters to a small, affluent fraction of the population, while our planet and many of its inhabitants grapple with pressing challenges like poverty, hunger, and climate change. Moreover, the emphasis on luxury and exclusivity inherent in space tourism could potentially divert resources away from more inclusive, sustainable space endeavors. These include scientific research missions that expand our knowledge of the universe and satellite deployments that provide crucial services like weather forecasting, telecommunications, and disaster management. On the flip side, proponents argue that the potential benefits of space tourism could outweigh its costs. They contend that the revenue generated could fund scientific research and exploration missions, ultimately benefiting humanity as a whole. Furthermore, the growth of the space tourism industry could stimulate innovation, create jobs, and lower the cost of access to space over time, potentially making space travel more accessible to a wider segment of the population. However, these potential benefits must be weighed against the environmental and social costs of space tourism. It's a delicate balancing act that demands careful thought, open discussion, and above all, a commitment to ethical decision-making. As we stand on the precipice of a new era in space exploration, these ethical considerations demand careful thought and discussion. It's not just about what we can do, but what we should do. Our actions in space, like those on Earth, should be guided by principles of sustainability, equity, and respect for our shared environment. As the debate over space tourism rages on, one thing is clear. The path forward must prioritize sustainability, responsible stewardship of space, and equitable access to its benefits. Finding a balance in this new frontier is crucial. The thrill of space exploration and the economic potential it brings should not blind us to our responsibilities. We must consider the environmental and ethical implications of our actions and ensure that our pursuit of the cosmos does not compromise the planet we inhabit. Thoughtful planning is needed to navigate this complex landscape. We must develop strategies that promote innovation and expansion while mitigating harm to our environment. This could involve investing in cleaner propulsion technologies, implementing strict regulations on space debris management, or incentivizing research into sustainable practices. Regulation, too, has an essential role to play. As with any burgeoning industry, clear and enforceable rules are needed to guide the development of space tourism. These regulations should be designed to protect our environment, ensure safety, and foster fair competition. They should also promote transparency and accountability among space tourism operators to ensure that they adhere to the highest standards of environmental stewardship. International cooperation is also vital. Space is a shared resource, and its exploration and use should benefit all of humanity. To ensure this, nations must work together to establish common standards and practices. Through collaboration, we can pool our resources, share our knowledge, and tackle the challenges of space tourism collectively. Ultimately, the path forward involves a delicate balancing act. We must weigh the economic and technological potential of space tourism against its environmental and ethical costs. We must strive to ensure that the benefits of space exploration are accessible to all, not just a privileged few. And we must remember that as we reach for the stars, our actions in space reflect back on us here on Earth. As we gaze at the stars and dream of the possibilities, we must remember that our first obligation is to protect and preserve the planet that we call home. Space tourism, a concept once confined to the realm of science fiction, is now within our reach. But as we stand on the cusp of this new frontier, we must grapple with the complex and multifaceted implications of this development. Indeed, the dawn of space tourism holds immense potential. The economic benefits are tangible, with the prospect of job creation, innovation stimulation, and the democratization of access to space. The revenue generated could fuel scientific research and exploration missions, pushing the boundaries of our knowledge and understanding of the universe. However, the journey to the stars is not without its challenges. Critics have raised valid concerns about the environmental cost of space tourism. The carbon footprint and space debris generated by this burgeoning industry pose significant threats to our atmosphere and the space environment. Each launch, each journey to the stars, leaves its mark. A trail of pollutants in our atmosphere and a scattering of debris in our orbit. And these effects, while small individually, could accumulate to have global repercussions. The ethical debate around space tourism further complicates the issue. Questions arise about whether the pursuit of space tourism, with its emphasis on luxury and exclusivity, exacerbates existing inequalities and prioritizes the interests of a privileged few over the well-being of the planet and its inhabitants. The environmental costs must be weighed against the potential benefits, prompting us to consider the ethical justification for such ventures. As we look to the future, the path forward must be one of balance, a balance between the pursuit of exploration and the need for conservation, a balance between the desire for discovery and the responsibility we bear towards our home planet. As we venture into the cosmos, we must ensure that our pursuit of the stars does not come at the expense of our home planet. After all, Earth is the only home we've got.